cuffs are off, man. Get right, too many left in these leagues, but I ain't going.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant from NFL Network.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
Marking nothing, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, don't roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves.
What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network. And tonight is the Roster Management Show, or as I like to call it, the Rasta Management Show. So we are here to discuss our buy-sell trade targets, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk about who to add, who to drop as well. More importantly, taking your Q&A, in the chats as well. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in there. We'll try to get to as many as we can. And I'm here with my boy Frank this week, man. You were busy on the Fab waivers last night, man.
A little too crazy, I think. But
it looked like you had some fun. Yeah,
I got the guys I wanted. That's all that matters. And then later on, it's like buyer's remorse. You're like, do I really want that guy? I should have went for this guy.
Now you're about to drop him for somebody too after you just spent the money.
No, it's just always like, you always like, did I pick the right guy? Is what I'm trying to get at. You know what I mean? Because there was, a couple running backs out there that was like.
Well, tell the people who you picked. Tell them the choices that you were making.
I went with Roshan in some leagues, Kyron Williams another league. You know what I mean? Like, so
that's spreading it out.
Yeah, spread it out. I didn't want to like peg, with one guy. I did do a lot of picking up of Zach Moss. He's coming back, so yeah. There was waiver wire action happening. I was figuring. I had, because I had J.K. Dobbins go down, so I had to pick up running backs. You know what I mean? Like. It was, like anybody else who had Aaron Rodgers go down, you pick up a, quarterback. It's out of necessity, not because I was trying to make the move, but I mean, my guy's literally out for the year, right? Like, there's no.
Yeah.
I'm done.
You weren't just trying to get in there and dabble in there.
Yeah,
you were feeling the need.
Not to have done it. Yeah, I preferred not to have done any of that.
I would much rather have J.K. Dobbins.
I would have waited out 4 or 5.
Who, by the way, would be the RB1 right now if it weren't for. Him getting hurt. I mean, he would have had 3 touchdowns. Justice Hill wouldn't have scored those 2 touchdowns if he wasn't there, or if he was still there. So that was all. JK was literally right at the goal line when he got hurt and couldn't finish, and Justice Hill came in and scored the touchdown on the next play.
Thanks, right?
So yeah,
it's a
brutal. Yeah, that would have been his second. That would have already been the second. And then he would end up getting the third later. So
would have been a good game. That would have been a good
crazy, man. So yeah, so like I said, man. We're here tonight. We're talking roster management. So again, if you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. If you're watching this later, you can always leave a comment. We can get to you in there. Or just go into the description. Check out our links in there. You can find out ways to message us directly by joining the Get Right Fantasy Network Sleeper channel. So the link's right at the top of the description there. And then if you scroll all the way down at the bottom of the description, you'll see all of our ads on Twitter and Sleeper and all that good stuff. So we'll get you helping out in there. And just to let you guys know, man, we are here again Monday nights doing our overreaction and waiver wire show. We're here on Wednesday nights like tonight doing the roster management, buy, sell, trade targets, and ad drops. Fridays, we do the game by game start sit. So we'll take your questions there as well, getting your lineups right for Sunday. And then whatever questions we can't answer there on Friday night because of last minute injury news. Classic Mike is back here in the morning, Sunday morning, right up until kickoff, helping you with the actives and inactives and last minute start sit advice there. So we're here 4 days a week for you, man, pumping out the content. So we hope you guys are liking it. Absolutely, man. Let us know how we're doing. If you want to hear more of something else or something like that, man, just let us know. We always like to get the feedback. And of course, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for us as we continue to grow here as well. So like I said, we're going to do a little Thursday night preview here. We'll go through some news and notes. injury updates, things like that. Of course, the buy sell trade, and again the live Q&A. So before we get into that, of course, I do have to tell you about our sponsor, man, UnderdogFantasy.com. For those of you guys who don't know, it's a best ball platform, and they still have kind of weekly best ball DFS type drafts going on. But the fun thing, that I like to do now, that the kind of best ball mania and the bigger tournaments are done since the season started now, are the pick'ems, and which are real fun, super easy to do. You can choose higher, lower, or even rivalry picks where you're picking a player versus another player. So make sure you guys go check out the Underdog Fantasy app, or go visit UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use that promo code GetRight, and not only will they match 100% on your first deposit up to $100, doubling your money. When you're a new user, you'll get a mystery pick'em special in addition to any like state, site-wide pick'em specials that they have going on. So again, use that promo code GetRight and get that pick'em, man. You have a chance to 20 times your money on those pick'ems, and they'll usually give you one for free right out of the gate. So make sure you guys go check that out.
That's what those, I'm going to get into those. I like those.
Yeah, they're fun. And I was, if that touchdown would have been a passing touchdown on last Thursday night, I would have won $200. If it would have, instead of Montgomery running it in, I needed the second passing touchdown from Goff. I'd hit on all the other ones and just needed that to be the second touchdown. Man, it was so close. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, make sure you guys go check it out. All right, so let's get into it, man. Let's talk some football. We're already 7 minutes into this thing. Get all that out of the way. Let's talk some football here now. Again, you guys got questions, drop them in the chat. But we'll talk about Vikings Eagles, man. Eagles come in as 6.5 point favorites, 49 point over under in this one. We got the news today that Kenny Gainwell is going to be out, dealing with those rib injuries, on a short week. So it looks like it might be the Swift show. If you possibly heard earlier, Sirianni came out and said something like, there's going to be games where Swift's going to carry the load for us, and then there's going to be games like there are last Sunday. And to me, that scares the hell out of me. Yeah. So,
Kenny Gainwell went from the number one waiver ad to like. Oh.
No, he's talking about Swift.
Well, I know, but that means that it's affecting Gainwell though, because obviously he's going to be put him in instead of him.
Oh yeah, that's why he was one of the biggest waiver wire
ads. Now it's like not so much of a great ad. That's what I'm trying to get at, because now you already know there's doubt of what the playing time, the amount of carries he's going to get, if at all in the game. They're like trying to switch it up.
That's where I disagree. I just think it's because Gainwell was ruled out. Now Swift's going to have a big game. I think he's just clearly saying Swift is like the two. We'll see what happens between. Like yeah, like I think he's saying like he doesn't have like a guaranteed role or usage. Like it sounds like he's the two, and Gainwell's clearly the one.
We might shoot him in every once in a while.
Hey, but this is why we analyze this stuff, man. You read it one way, I read it another. And that's why we're here, man. So maybe some people out there, though. Read it to me again. No, you read it to yourself, but that's how I took it, man. But either way, so again, we got Eagles 6.5 point favorites here against the Vikings on Thursday night. We know what happens to Kirk Cousins when he gets in these games, especially on the road in these high profile games. So we'll see what happens, man. Obviously, as far as who we're starting and sitting in this one, you're probably starting the usual suspects. I kind of like the Madison play with Bradbury being out due to the concussion. They still got Slay, of course, going to be going up against AJ Brown, against Justin Jefferson. And so there might be some opportunities there for Addison, who had a pretty decent game last week. I think 5 targets, something like that, scored a touchdown. So he might be a sneaky little play here in this game. But as far as the Eagles go, do you feel comfortable starting Swift or maybe Penny might get some action? He was a healthy scratch last week. What are you thinking in this one?
Comfortable starting Swift. No problem. If you got him, fire him up. Why not?
Okay.
Minnesota's not the best defense anyways.
No, they're not. They're not.
You know what I mean? And I think Swift will do good enough. You know what I mean? Like, why not? I put him as a flex play, not like an RB2 or anything like that, but like a flex play.
Okay. So, yeah, there you go. And then for the most part, you're starting the Eagles in this one. Like we said, Vikings defense isn't very good. Again, coming off a short week. Usually that affects the defenses a little more, kind of gives the offenses a little more advantage on the quick turnaround. So, yeah, I mean, probably one of the biggest question marks here is what to do with Goddard. Obviously, had a bad game last week. Do you start him again this week? I mean, tight end position's pretty kind of hit or miss anyway. So, in my opinion, I'm starting him.
I think that's just a fluke. It's just like some of these other games that we had last week where it was a game script, right? Whatever happening and things like that. And sometimes you just have a hot hand and you go with it. So it just worked out that way. I think you got to fire him up because he's on a good offense, right? And it could go from feast to famine, right? So we just had famine, so we'll go to feast where next he has a 2 touchdown game and you sat him. You know what I mean? You got to start your starters. This guy should be a starter on your roster.
You drafted him that way.
You drafted him as such. You keep him in there. Now, if this is another week or 3 weeks in a row that he's doing that, then you got to start.
Then maybe look to stream.
Yeah. You got to.
I'm with you there.
You got to stick with him. It's too early.
Yeah, I'm with you there. What about Addison? Are you yay or nay on Addison?
Oh, Addison looked good. Yeah.
Fire him up.
Oh yeah.
All right, there we go.
That's definitely start right there.
For sure. We got so that pretty much wraps up the Thursday night preview. If you guys got any questions about it, of course, you can hit us up. We do got Julio Villa here. What's up, man? How's it going? I don't think I've seen your name here before. So welcome to Get Right. Appreciate if you hit that subscribe for us here. We'll see what happens maybe with this question. So he says trade Khalil Herbert for Zay Jones in full PPR. He says he needs a wide receiver. He has Bijan, Pollard, and James Conner and Algier and Jeff Wilson there. So to me, Herbert is definitely someone you can move up there. And I kind of like Zay Jones. If you need a wide receiver, I mean, you might be able to get a little more for Herbert. He's saying he also has Fields at QB. I mean, maybe you can get more on Herbert.
Yeah, I think you
go to that JK owner. You might be able to get a little more there. But again, if not, I don't think it's bad. Zay Jones didn't come off the field. His usage actually was pretty surprising to me. Christian Kirk basically was literally regulated to a third, a 3-wide slot role. Didn't see as many snaps as I expected and targets and anything like that. I think he only scored 1.4 fantasy points on 3 catches. So that kind of worries me a little bit. But not someone I'm totally giving up on. But I think Zay, was shown at the end of last year that he can produce, and so maybe all 3 of them can eat there.
And and
you have the running backs to give him up.
Yeah. He started off strong. He had a good showing right off the bat. And yet, like Anthony says, I would probably. Who do you like better? Like, I would probably just give up Jace Conner instead of Khalil Herbert for Zay Jones. I think that's more of a. You know what I mean?
Well, I kind of disagree there. Connor is a good 3 because he is gonna. You're just hoping against injury. Yeah. He's there. There's no competing back. Whereas Khalil Herbert, like you said, you went and got Roshan. 6 catches. That's what I mean. So a lot of people are expecting him to take over by the end of the year. So I think it's good to get out of Herbert now if you have the opportunity. Again, he could stay there and be that guy. But again, if you're needing the wide receiver, I don't think it's a bad trade.
There you go.
Cool. All right, man. So hopefully that works out for you, Julio. Let us know. Yeah, keep us posted. Let us know how it goes. But I always like to, try some other things too. Always, you can shoot a little higher than Zay Jones. I don't think he was really drafted much. You might be able to buy low on one of these guys that we kind of mentioned coming up here in the show. So stay tuned, and we'll get to some guys maybe that you might be able to flip Herbert for a little bit later. So we will run through a couple news and notes here. Just first and foremost, looks like Zach Wilson is going to be the starter. Obviously, with Rodgers done for the season with his torn Achilles. Salah's come out and basically said we believe in him and he's their best choice. They did, look at other options on the table.
Other options like Colin Kaepernick and who else called him?
Yeah, like Joe Flacco. I don't know. There's a bunch of names. Phillip Rivers even being thrown around. It got crazy. Yeah, so that's what you have going on there with the Jets. We'll get into maybe what to do here with Garrett Wilson a little bit later in our buy-sell trade. he's definitely in there, and we'll see what we're thinking here on that. We got Raiders Devontae Adams did not practice today due to a injury. Jacoby Myers remains in the concussion protocol, and Jimmy G was limited with an ankle. So just keep your eye on these guys. I'm sure Adams probably fine. I mean, he played the whole game. But yeah, Myers you got to worry about, and of course Jimmy G's on the injury report after week 1. So good luck, Raiders. I mean, Jimmy's the guy. He helped us get to places, but yeah, that's what you got to live with him on the injury report. We got Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. He was limited in practice today, obviously coming off that knee hyperextension. We mentioned on Wednesday how scary that potentially was. They thought he had a tibia plateau fracture, but ends up kind of escaping that, and looks like they're going to ramp him back up with an opportunity to play this Sunday. You had Chargers running back Austin Eckler said he missed practice today for a personal reason.
Yeah,
I was going to say that personal reason might have been to go get some rehab on that ankle. Little vet day. Obviously, he got nicked up dealing with that ankle. A lot
of shows, man. He was on a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of.
We got to hopefully get him on here. But yeah, I was going to say I literally listened to that one and heard it from himself. They tried to get an answer out of him, but he's just like, we'll see.
Yeah.
So it wasn't promising. He wasn't like, no, I'm playing. But he kind of did say, we get nicked up, and I've played on ankle injuries before. It's tough, but it's my job, and he wants those incentives, I'm sure. So he don't want to be missing time, in his kind of contract year here. So
one of the
Josh Kelly.
Yeah, I did pick that guy too because he's looking good. So it's like this guy might be, they're paid to say that.
That 1-2 punch, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been like, oh, I've been hollering that for years. I've been wanting to have a 1-2 punch for a while. Remember?
Right.
He said that, and I was like, come on now, you don't want a 1-2 punch. Like, come on, he doesn't need a break like that.
Yeah, and he does have himself on like 3 of his 5 fantasy teams, I heard. Yeah. So obviously friend of the show. You guys seen the intro. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we can get him on here soon. Yeah, absolutely. Always give Eckler the time, man. Make sure you guys go check out that Eckler Foundation as well. I think we still have that link in the description. Yeah. So moving on here, we'll try to fly through these so we can get to the buy sell trade. We got Mike McCarthy saying Brandon Cooks is doing okay. I think he'll do a little more tomorrow and said there's a chance he plays. On Sunday, you got Jerry Jeudy dealing with the hamstring. They're saying he was actually close to playing on Sunday. He actually went through a pregame workout, and then it was then that they decided he wasn't going to play. But they're saying that was a positive sign for him to possibly be back here this Sunday against the Commanders. You have Broncos tight end Greg Dulcich. He's expected to be sidelined multiple weeks after injuring the same hamstring that caused him to miss the Denver's first 5 games last season, and then the last 2 games at the end of the season as well. So they're saying they're going to take it slow with him. So keep an eye out on Adam Troutman. He might be someone
like crazy. I've seen him.
Yeah, so he's been getting picked up. So if you're looking to stream, you might have an option there. Some bad news here out of Pittsburgh. Wide receiver Deontay Johnson's expected to miss up to 4 weeks with that hamstring injury. So pretty serious with that one, as we kind of expected when we seen it. We know.
Nightmare now, man. Like
everyone's dealing with the hammies. So Anthony Richardson was apparently not listed on the injury report after he didn't finish Sunday's game due to a bruised knee that he had suffered earlier in the game. Even though we all saw him completely get rocked right in the head. And, we have like a whole Tua situation. So if he ends up getting a concussion next game, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, it actually was a concussion the game before. Like, isn't this the same exact thing that happened with Tua last year? I don't know, man. Remember they were like, oh, it was his back that he hurt earlier in the game. Remember? Like they said the same exact thing. And we're like, we all saw his head bounce off the turf. Like, you can't fool us with this. Like, we were watching the games. Like, that's what we do. Yeah, like that dude lit him up, man, and everyone's seen it. And they were even the announcers were like, oh. So apparently he's okay. No concussion protocol, no anything like that. Just something to keep your eye on, of course. So he's on track to start against the Texans this weekend. You have Jalen Waddle. He was listed as limited. He had that oblique injury coming into last game. He played. So I think it's just more of a formality. He might be listed with that all year. just kind of some of those things. The reason to give him some rest.
This guy's not 100.
Exactly. You got Raheem Mostert dealing with a knee injury. Imagine that. Raheem Mostert after week 1 dealing with a knee injury. It's like I've heard that many a time. You have, yes. I mean, it's just tough, man. So Devon A-Chain, man, might be a sneaky little pickup there. And if Wilson does come back, maybe after week 4.
You like A-Chain over Salvon Ahmed?
Yeah, Savon Ahmed. So he might be the guy. I have him actually in a couple leagues just to see what ends up happening there. But yeah, something to monitor. You have DeAndre Hopkins also popping up with the ankle, saying he didn't practice today. Probably more like a vet day, but they're saying he did have an ankle. He played the whole game, had like 13 targets. So I think he's fine. Giants tight end Darren Waller got a DNP. They're saying it's a hamstring / rest. So just something to keep your eye on there. Aaron Jones.
Him I'm more worried about because now he said it's the same leg, but it's not the same injury. He said it's more like a nerve.
The nerve behind the muscle or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that even mean?
Yeah. I was like, what the heck? This guy's whatever it is. That doesn't sound good. If you're talking about some nerve behind the muscle, how are you going to be running around the field like that? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So definitely something to keep your eye on there. Another hamstring injury you got Aaron Jones dealing with. We all saw him pull up on that on his second touchdown. RB1 overall right now in fantasy, at least in half point PPR. They're saying we're going to give it through the course of the week before they make any determination on him. And just remember, he did say after the game that it was more score dependent. If it was a closer game, he would have gone back in, is what he said. So, we'll see what happens. You could say things after the game, but you wake up that next day and can't move. That's a whole different story. We all been there. Also, another hamstring. Christian Watson, man, gets a DNP again this Wednesday after being ruled out last weekend. Still dealing with that hamstring, so definitely keep your eyes on it.
I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, we'll see. It sounded like it was going to be multiple weeks.
Injury, and Dobbs will probably be in. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's multiple weeks for Watson. I have him. I don't want to hear that. But I'd rather him come back when he's fully healthy than all these other guys that just re-injured their stuff.
Right. And I mean, Cooper was out for a whole month and still came back and it was all messed up. But yeah, that's why you're seeing Deontay gone for 4 weeks. And yeah, exactly. So you got Mark Andrews dealing with his quad. They're saying he was seen participating in practice today. And then looks like DJ Chark is coming back as well. Practice today. Most likely in a limited fashion. I didn't get the official designation on this, but he was doing more than he was last week. So DJ Chark return might be here. So that's kind of wraps up the news and notes. So anything you want to comment on that, or are we good to move on there?
No, we're good. I think, obviously, I think now Mark Andrews and, help me out. The other tight end, Kelsey. I was going to break right there. But I think both of these guys should be back this week, and they should be starting this week. So that's what I'm happy about. That's what I'm looking forward to.
We all hope that. You're hoping for that.
I'm hoping. Trust me. I got some of these guys. I need some of these guys. I got both of those guys. They need to play.
Yeah. Just full disclosure, that's coming from a totally biased opinion there. Right. Full disclosure. All right, guys. We got Akiro Tempest here in the chat. Thanks for joining us here, man. He's saying Jamal Williams or Nakua at the flex. We mainly do our start-sit shows on Friday. I'm not even sure the quite matchups right now, but just based on the two, I'm probably Nakua all the way over Jamal Williams right now. So
it's the hottest waiver wire ad. He's getting all the looks. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean he's going up against the Niners, but DJ was doing okay against them. Pickens was all right. Like if he could get some time to throw, Stafford, the Rams know the Niners. It's going to be a close game, just like Tycoon on Friday called the Seahawks Rams game. Our division's weird when it comes to those divisional games. So I don't think it's going to be too bad. I'd go Nakua.
New Orleans is playing Carolina on Monday night.
Yeah, I'm still going Nakua there.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams did not look good.
Yeah. I'm not too happy with that.
Yeah. So
the 49ers though, man. Oh.
Yeah, that we're susceptible to the wide receiver position.
Yeah, you can't run on him. That's right.
You're not running on us. That's for sure. So, Cadillac says, are you trading Garrett and Mostert for AJ Brown? Like Garrett Wilson and Mostert, Raheem Mostert? You mean the guy that just lost his quarterback and the guy that's already dealing with a knee injury for Arthur Juan? I'm taking Arthur Juan all day there, Cadillac. If you can get that done, get that done. For sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. So Cadillac's just saying Garrett Wilson and Raheem Mostert for AJ Brown. I mean, I'm doing that in a heartbeat before it could be thought about.
Oh yeah, he's getting the AJ Brown.
Yeah, I'm on the AJ Brown side on that all day. So there we go. So yeah, you guys got any more questions? Trade questions? Drop them in the chat. Again, we typically do start sit Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. On Fridays. We're here with you guys on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and again Sunday morning. And there we go. Got the little banner up now, so you guys can see what we got going on in the upcoming shows. So we'll move on here. Let's get to our buy, sell, trade targets. We'll start at the quarterback position. You want to start with buys or sells? What are you feeling like?
Let's go sell. Who do you sell?
Let's go sell. All right, let's go sell. So you want me to start off, or you want to start off?
I'll take one off here because I did like this guy. Jordan Love did really well this last weekend. 15 to 27, 245 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I mean, with that kind of stat line and just looking pretty good over there in Green Bay as the replacement, you could sell high and you could get somebody over here. I mean, how cheer you, man? I guess it depends on what you're looking for. A wide receiver, a running back, but he's definitely an option to get out there because people lost Aaron Rodgers. So if you had him on your team, you could be like, hey, here's your guy, because sometimes the waiver wires are just not there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, and he was definitely on my list here. Another guy I had on my sell list is Mac Jones, currently sitting as the QB2 in fantasy right now. 6 point per passing touchdowns, scored 30.14 points, and 4 point had 24.14 points last week. 35 for 54 attempts. They weren't running the ball very well over there. 316 yards, did get 3 touchdowns and another pick. I just think, obviously, I don't think that's sustainable. And if you can take him and package him with like a Puka Nacua or maybe like a Kenny Gainwell or one of these hot waiver wire ads that you just spent your fab on, package him up to go get one of these maybe underperforming guys we're going to talk about here on the buys. Higher end quarterback, maybe someone like a Justin Fields who didn't perform well, but we know what his fantasy upside is. Or even someone like Lamar, Joe Burrow, or one of the Mahomes, Allen, Hurts folks, if anyone's down on those guys. So any other sells you got, or that kind of transitioned us right into the buy?
Yeah, I think that transitioned right into the buy.
All right, so there we go.
About the other one that I threw out today, though. So trying to get
okay. I apologize. I just took 6 quarterbacks right out of your mouth right there.
It's all good.
To go with. But so just to recap that, just for me, quarterbacks, I'm potentially looking to buy first and foremost. I like trying to go for the top end talent, so if I'm trying to do a trade, I'm going to at least go see how the Mahomes and Allen and Hurts owner are feeling. I'm sure the fact that they drafted him probably in the second round, maybe first round, they're probably not giving up on him, after week 1. But you never know. I've seen guys like, Dallas Goedert. I've heard of, Garrett Wilson getting dropped in some leagues. It's a very emotional game.
Right.
People take it week by week. So never, always try. Always at least try, because you never know what you might get when you go fishing. So when you go fantasy fishing, that's why it's Fishing Frank out there.
What up,
Squidward?
He's got a question right here, quick. I picked up Gus Edwards' thoughts with no Dobbins.
I mean, I think he might be the first and second down back. I like him a little more in non PPR, more than half or full. I mean, it might be a Melvin Gordon game. They're just going to use a committee there. I mean, remember when they lost JK and Gus for the entire year? It's just a hodgepodge of guys that they started bringing in. Every week it was some Baltimore running back that we were taking off the wire thinking he was going to be the league winner, and it just never kind of panned out. So
Drake 1 week.
I personally didn't, I personally couldn't do it. You know, and I didn't go after him, you know, either of those guys, even as a JK owner. So that's just me.
Yeah,
He says no way people are dropping Garrett Wilson and Dallas Goedert. Yeah, man, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
That's crazy.
So it's crazy. So yeah, always try. So again, the trio, if you can just try, you know, after one of those guys, then definitely take a shot. And then of course, you know, those higher, you know, mid-tier guys, your Joe Burrows and your Lamar Jacksons, who are sitting at QB 30 and QB 27 respectively. Joe Burrow obviously only had 82 yards, scored 3.18 points, and Lamar Jackson went 17 for 22, 169 yards and a pick, 6 for 56 or 6.56 points as the QB 27. You know, if you can get someone, again, if you can take a Jordan Love or a Mac Jones and maybe, you know, put a Kenny Gainwell or somebody with that, package it up and get one of these guys. If they're not feeling it or felt like they picked the wrong guy this year, then you might be able to come up on that. So
I'm a ride or die, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, some people are like that. Some people are like that.
Way, but mostly, I'm pretty stubborn about it. I'm like, nah, maybe he'll turn it around.
Yeah,
but
so you never know.
I hope this season. I think that, you know, they helped him out. The wide receiver department, the running back was back, but now he just lost DK, so it's like
I'm gonna have to air it out.
Yeah,
and Andrews wasn't there, so they're gonna get Andrews back. Yeah, if you can buy low on Lamar right now, or even just what he's kind of worth or valued right now, the fact that you could just someone might be willing to trade him to you is a good thing. Like,
right? That's what I'm
like then you just take your chance, and if you have to pay him,
right
even if you have to overpay just a smidge, again, as long as it doesn't put a hole in your team, you know, that's the kind of upgrade you're trying to get. So there we go. So we got Perry in the house, and yeah, you guys got questions, man, drop them in the chat. Again, we hopefully try to keep them to more roster management type questions. That's what we're doing here tonight. Of course, we'll try to answer your start sits as best as possible, but we have our whole Friday show dedicated for that. So just tune in with us again on Friday. Hit that subscribe button now. Turn on those notifications, and we'll go live on Friday, and you can ask those start sit questions then. But right here, Perry's asking a trade question. So he says Walker for Jacobs. So you taking Ken Walker or Josh Jacobs?
Jacobs.
I'll take Jacobs too.
Yeah.
Tebow in here saying Demont, Addison, Dotson, Pierce. Who are you looking to flex this week? Probably. So he's going to have to make the decision soon because Addison's there. I do like Demont playing against the Jags this week. I forgot who Washington's playing this week. And Pierce has a better matchup. I know I put him in my starting lineup somewhere. Hard to answer this again, Tebow, like I was saying, because I don't have all the matchups and stuff here in front of me. But I know you have to make a decision tomorrow. Addison, I do like.
Playing Denver.
Washington's playing Denver. Ooh. Yeah, Dotson might have a big game because what's his name's going to be covering Scary Terry.
Yeah.
Probably shut him down. Pat Surtain.
Houston's playing Indy.
Yeah, see, so Pierce is a good setup there. Yeah, I need to know if full PPR, I might go Addison. Man, that's really tough. That really is a tough one because I have all those guys kind of about in the same space. It's going to be about who's going to score a touchdown. If I had to think who's going to score a touchdown, I'd say Demont first, followed by Pierce against Indy. He should find the end zone there. The two running backs. And then out of the two wide receivers, I might lean Dotson this week against Denver just because, like I said, Pat Surtain's going to be on. He's going to shadow Scary Terry. So it might be like Dotson seeing 12 targets. And I think their second cornerback's out right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think he got hurt or is going to be limited. So.
Oh, yeah. They'll go with Dotson on that.
Yeah. So I think I go Dotson, Addison there. All right. So hopefully you got that there, Tebow. If you're looking at that, you want some upside, maybe go with one of the receivers and half or full PPR. If it's standard or half, I might lean towards one of those running backs, Demont and Pierce first, and then Dotson, Addison. Even though Bradbury's going to be out, you're going to have Darius Slay. Yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah, so we got to move on. Thanks. You see, you gotta keep me online there.
Yeah.
I try to help the people out, man. I don't want to just give them give him just a rinky-dink answer, man. I like to put some thought into it. So Perry's also asking Stevenson for Mixon, or should I trade Bijan for a top 3 running back if I can? I mean, if you can turn Bijan into CMC, Eckler, I don't know who you have as 3 because I think I have Bijan as 3 or Chubb actually. That'd probably be the 3 I would take ahead of Bijan. But Bijan's going to take over that backfield. Like all that running work that Tyler Algier had, that's eventually going to go to Bijan. I mean, it'll just be reverse. Like Bijan's going to have the Algier game, and Algier will probably have more like the Bijan game today. So that work should flip flop by the end of the year. So
not even that far.
I'd hold on to Bijan. As far as the first part, who do you like more, Stevenson or Mixon? I think I like Mixon a little more.
Mixon. Who are they playing?
Well, this is trade, so not just for the week.
I'd take Mixon.
Yeah, I think I'm Mixon over Stevenson.
Yeah.
Just because Z got way too much work than I thought he should have had. I mean, if they dialed that back, then I'd be back on that.
I said that.
Way too much work. And way too much receiving work. Like Stevenson is the receiver. I think Zeke had like 5 to 7 targets or something. I know, but he's old and slow.
Remember? Yes.
God.
Remember
he fumbled. When is he fumbled like his second play of the game? It was like reminiscent of his last play as the Cowboy, man. It was crazy. So yeah, and then I was like, he's going to be in the doghouse now for fumbling. But
he's a good blocker. He runs good routes. He catches well. He does everything. He's just old now. You know, he's slow. He's not what he used to be. But I mean, hey, if you could trot him out for a couple plays and give him some rest, he'll be all right, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's what New England will do. They'll rest this guy or put this guy in for a couple plays, and he'll do what he can, get back on the bench, and wait for his next set.
Nah, I hope that changes, but I just don't trust Bill Belichick with 2 competent running backs. You never know what's going to happen.
Been his MO his whole career.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would.
I'm getting away from Stevenson if I can.
Back away.
That might be in here. I know, and I drafted him too like an idiot. He fell to like the 3rd to me, and I was like, I couldn't pass it.
Never trust New England.
As a RB2 is fine, but not as RB1 like we thought he was going to be.
No,
all right, so anyway, yeah, we got a drunk Squidward here saying, who would you start, Dallas Goedert or Darren Waller? Since Goddard plays this Thursday. Yeah, and we don't mind taking start-sit questions that involve a player that you have to make a decision on Thursday. So I appreciate you guys doing that. But yeah, so you taking Goddard or Darren Waller? I would go Goddard just because he's healthy. Darren Waller is still dealing with the injury like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And you could end up waiting on him and then he gets ruled out or is just ineffective. And so, yeah, I would go with Goddard.
2 bad games in a row. I think that,
Goddard, right?
Yeah, Thursday night Goddard to be good. I mean, and like we were just saying, Darren Waller's over here saying that it's not actually a muscle, it's a nerve behind his hammy,
behind the muscle or something. It's crazy.
It's too much, dude. Like you already know he's not playing. He's not.
Like, when does anybody go into that much detail about their injury? Like, sounds like you're trying to make some weird excuse. Like, I've never heard that much detail about a hammy.
Yeah,
I already know too much.
Yeah, exactly. He's not playing.
Yeah. And again, hamstring's not a muscle; it's a tendon. But anyway,
it reminds me of when James Robinson had good 3 weeks last year. Then Etienne took over. Yeah.
Exactly when he's talking about Bijan. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And then they traded him. They just traded him in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of James Robinson. Unfortunately.
Right? Yeah.
R.I.P. Not for real, but yeah.
But yeah. Football.
No more fantasy relevancy. Yeah. So we got Riley Huntley in here. How's it going? New name. Welcome to Get Right. If you're new with us here, maybe your first time asking a question or catching us live. But he says, would you trade Garrett Wilson and DJ Moore for Amari Cooper and Terry McLaurin, or Wilson for Cooper straight up? I think I would lean more Wilson for Cooper straight up, more so than the other 2. I'm just not that big of a Scary Terry fan for whatever reason. I mean, I guess maybe if you're getting him in a trade afterwards, but I'd kind of stay away from DJ Moore right now. And I think Wilson for Cooper is. I mean, I'd rather be. I think that's where Garrett drops down into that kind of Cooper range, that Cooper DK, type range, is where I think Wilson kind of sits right now for me with Wilson as his quarterback, because the talent's still there and the target share is still there. It's just the quality of target that significantly dropped. and probably the total targets he was going to get, they're just not going to throw as much. It'll be more of a running game to just turn him more into a game manager instead of Aaron Rodgers trying to make Wilson an MVP candidate in himself. So yeah,
I don't know, man. Would he be that much less than Amari Cooper? Because I mean, that dude, he caught that ball like crazy. So
it was a nice catch, but it was a terrible throw. Like, that's the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Remember, I used to say the same thing about OBJ. He makes all these great throws, but that's just because Eli Manning can't throw an accurate ball. Like, if you just put it on someone's chest, that doesn't look great on highlight reels. It's when you're off completely and you have to contort and reach back all the way across your back because they can't throw a back shoulder fade properly, and you make some crazy circus catch. But I personally would lean Wilson for Cooper straight up. I'd take that. And yeah, you might be getting a little bit of a downgrade, but it's a much more known commodity. At least you kind of know what you're getting out of Deshaun Watson. I'd much rather have Deshaun Watson thrown to my wide receiver than
I agree there. Yeah,
Zach Wilson. So
if you look at it that way, yes.
Yeah. So there you go. Because they need to be sitting with, well, I guess then he'd be with Cooper and DJ Moore. Maybe I would want Cooper and McLaurin.
He didn't have that game. Cooper only had 37 yards.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that here soon. All right, so let's move on. So we talked about our quarterbacks. We got to the chats. You guys got more questions? Drop them in there. As you can see, we're gonna get to them. If you're watching this later, check it out. I'll put some timestamps in there. If you're just wanting to check out what we have as far as buys and sells by position, check the timestamps in there. Otherwise, if you want to hear everybody's questions and maybe you have a similar question or a take on these guys, you can listen through. So we'll move on. Running back buys. I'll pick buys this time since we did sells last time for quarterbacks. So who you have as far as a running back you're looking to buy? I have several. So if you want me to go, I have
buying Roschon Johnson. I'll just start with the guy that I actually went after.
Well, and this means in a trade, like you're not like picking him up off the waiver wire. Like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so this is running back buys. Like who you?
I'm trying to get some Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe some Josh Jacobs. I like both of those guys. I think they're going to be moving forward pretty well. I mean,
coming off bad games, which is kind of like what I like to look for.
Yeah, you could get them low. I would go after, especially Josh Jacobs. He's going to be the only guy over there. He's got to put that team on his back like he did last year.
Yeah, 19 carries, only had 48 yards, only a 2.5 yard average. But remember, he did hold out for a long time. Kind of got reworked back into the offense. Clearly getting the work. 3 targets, 2 catches. We could deal with that. But as of now, sitting as an RB30, only scoring 8.1 half PPR points. So, he's definitely someone I have on my buy list. Someone else I have on there is Saquon Barkley. We obviously saw what the Cowboys did to the Giants. Held Saquon to 7.8 points. He's sitting lower than Josh Jacobs right now as the RB32. Only got 12 carries, 51 yards. Did have a 4.2 yard average, so was still pretty productive. Was still able to get 4 targets, 3 catches, only 12 yards on those. Obviously, that Dallas D was swarming. So if again, when I'm looking at running back buys, something I'm looking at are high profile players. Guys that were drafted high, that are in good positions, that had often bad weeks. And, like I mentioned earlier, you want to take advantage of folks that maybe play this game a little more emotionally. Like we said, there's guys that will spite drop people, or, if they do them wrong one week, then they're just done with them. So you never know. So that's why I always would, put trade offers out, put those feelers out there, to the owners of some of these guys.
And I agree with all that because I'm a person that get a list, and I'll put them on the list. I'll never touch them again.
Yeah, Frank's like that. So you just got to find it. He don't tell you the list, but it's in there. And if if a trade pops up in his box, he'll just do it. So
yeah. I'm done with some
exactly. Those go deep. So you mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs sitting at the running back 36 right now, coming off a 7.5 PPR fantasy game. Again, only getting 7 attempts, 42 yards. Did have a 6 yard average on those 7 attempts, so the efficiency's there. We saw the explosion. Only 2 targets, which was a little concerning. We thought, that might even be flipped. I would think, 7 targets and 2 carries. I would have thought would have been a little more realistic there. As far as what we were expecting.
Yeah.
But again, if anyone's down on him, they drafted him probably as their RB1. If they want, receiver heavy early. And if they're not feeling that, maybe you have an opportunity to buy him there. You have anybody else there? You want me to rattle off the rest of my guys?
Well, I didn't put any guys together other than what you're talking about here. So, I would just want to mention the Kenneth Walker situation though, because you do have him up here. And wait a minute, is that the same guy? Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that, the additions over here, he's talking the injuries and we're talking about Swift over here and this and that. That just makes me want to sell him.
Oh, so you actually have Ken Walker as a sell?
Yeah, I'd rather get rid of him at this point because you want to get rid of so high. Because
well, we'll get to that when we go into RB sells. Right now, we're talking RB buys. Do you have any other buys?
Switching me. No, I'm done with buying.
All right, so I'm going to go through the rest of my guys then. Sorry for that interlude there. So a couple other running back buys I have. No, we got to keep it in there because I'm going to have those chapters for the timestamp. So we got to keep it all together. We don't want to just go totally off the wall here.
Right.
Want to have some structure. So a couple other buys I have. Joe Mixon sitting at RB27, only 8.8 half PPR points, coming off 13 carries, 56 yards. Did get 5 targets, 3 receptions, 17 of Joe Burrow's 82 yards. Obviously part of this, high-powered offense. It didn't look that way Sunday, but again, these are the type of, situations I'm trying to take advantage of. You want to find these guys again. These are the exact guys I'm trying to target when I'm going for trade. So go see if you can make a stab at Joe Mixon. I have Kenneth Walker here sitting at RB28, coming off an 8.7, yard game or point game. In my opinion, a little lackluster here. Obviously, if he scores a touchdown, it's probably a little different. Seattle offense didn't come out great. But again, week 1, like we said, we're not going to totally overreact. Again, if someone's down on him, or maybe they were kind of down and wasn't sure when they made that pick, you might be able to make a little package for someone like Roschon Johnson who did show off, and maybe you make that trade. But I do have him more as a buy because I think he might be the long-term answer to take over there. Because Khalil Herbert didn't look great, but looks like they still gave him the work. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So let's move on to sales. So you obviously mentioned Kenneth Walker as one of your sells. Who else do you have as a sell?
Well, I'm not. How should I put it? I'm not buying these guys. You have a couple sells for Justin Hill or Gus Edwards. If you happen to pick them up, I would package those guys out because it's going to be a hodgepodge committee over there. So if somebody's kind of high on them or hurting on running back, why not? Like DK Yoder could have just used them as well, just to get the immediate backup that was on the team. Why not? Yeah.
So that's what I like to do. If I go bidding on the waiver wire, one of the reasons I really like, fab bidding over waivers. Sometimes on the waivers, I think on Sleeper you can see it, but on Yahoo you can't. But when you're doing fab, you can see who all bid. So you can see how many people were interested. And what I do is if I win that bid, I turn around and either put that guy directly on the block, or I will send offers to that, to those managers who, put bids in for them.
Yeah.
And based on their bid, it shows you how much they were, willing to pay and how much they like them. So you should be able to work, some type of trade out there. And again, I'm not, usually you'll have to package one of these guys with somebody else on your bench to try to upgrade maybe a starting position, or package him with the current starter to level up, for an even better starter there. So, again, the art of the sell when it comes to fantasy football.
Yeah.
My number one guy I have here is the RB1.
People, you are salesmen, so that's why.
Oh yeah, I am in sales too. And if you guys look at GetRightFF.com, it says Trade Guru under there. So, like I said, this is the Rasta management show here tonight. So that's what we're here for, man. So one of my big RB sells right now is the RB1 overall right now. Aaron Jones sitting with 25.7 half PPR points. He had only 9 carries, 41 yards, but scored a touchdown and had 2 catches. One of those being the big catch that he took for a touchdown and pulled up on his hamstring for a second touchdown. So he's sitting at RB1 right now. Again, if you can take him and maybe like Kenny Gainwell and go grab like a Saquon Barkley. Like that's, the type of trade, I'm trying to do, someone you just got off waivers with someone who just balled out. Again, if you're not feeling it, on that guy, or maybe you drafted Jones again because you just kind of had to, if you're looking to sell him, now's a great time. He is hurt, so maybe you can't get Saquon, for a hurt guy, you might have to wait till, it sounds like he's practicing and he's going to be active again. But I would definitely throw some feelers out with him. Another guy I'm looking to sell, again, the theme to sell to me, sell high. So you're looking at guys that, when you're looking at the fantasy week, and they're names that just don't go there. So one of those names was what doesn't belong. Tyler Algier sitting at RB4, 22.9 points, had 15 carries, 75 yards, 5-yard average, two touchdowns on the ground, 3 targets, 3 catches for 19 yards. This is, if I would have took Tyler Algier's name off that stat line and put Bijan Robinson, that's kind of how he was drafted, right? We all know or feel like Bijan will eventually take over. I think, Algier does have flex appeal, or someone that I did target in several best ball leagues on Underdog, as well as, in our mocks. I took him a lot, but Warrior, there we go. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. But yeah, so he was definitely someone I was targeting. When he blows up for a week like this, not something you expect all the time. You go to that J.K. Dobbins owner, someone like that, and package him with someone, and maybe you can get a deal done. For sure. Or, upgrade a wide receiver or something like that if you need it. Especially with a lot of people doing wide receiver heavy drafts, those 0 RB teams that are in your league, that guy that wins 0 RB, go hit him up with someone like Tyler Algier.
Hero RBs like myself that had J.K. Dobbins as the hero. Yeah,
see, then now you're really, see, that's that villain RB. That's why it gets you in trouble, and that's why I call it the villain RB right there. Right. Because you waited till like the 4th or 5th round.
Never went to the 7th. What are you talking about?
Oh, see, look at that was modified 0 right there. You're good. Yeah. So a couple of honorable mention guys here. I won't go into too much detail on these guys, but Kyron Williams sitting at RB7 right now. I don't think he's scoring 2 touchdowns every game. Again, someone got hurt. Someone might need some depth. You never know what people are thinking. You picked him up off the waiver wire, put him out there. Maybe you can't trade straight up for somebody, but that's the kind of guy that maybe has some value now. You could package him with someone else and try to make an upgrade. I think we had a sighting here from Dustin. Didn't I see Dustin in here? There he was. Yeah, he said words from Pure Dentist when I was talking about how I look to trade. So so he knows. Yeah, nicknames Trade Guru / Dentist. Because trading with me is like pulling your teeth. I will.
Since we're back here, Doug Sensford did say, "Is Aaron Jones a sell, or would you would you sell him for? What would you sell him for?"
Yeah, no, and we talked about that. So just rewind back to my Aaron Jones take on that one.
Because you were talking about it right now.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's perfect. I'm glad you saw that. We have Caleb in here.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
This is I traded Ramondre and Amon-Ra for Jefferson. What do y'all think?
Super win.
Up. Yeah,
A plus. A plus. A plus. I mean,
in a timeshare now.
They're good, but you got like literally the wide receiver 1.
Yeah,
like
you just traded to the number 1.
The fact that you even got someone to accept the trade and you didn't have to completely wreck your team, like you won, like easily.
You got it.
So these are, and this is the exact reason why you try for these guys. Like this is why you try. Like don't think, oh, it's Saquon, like he's not going to trade him to me. Oh, it's Justin Jefferson, he's not going to trade him. Jefferson just came off 12 targets, 10 catches, 150 something yards, and just got traded for Ramondre and Amon-Ra. Maybe this is a guy who had JK in a hero 0 RB build and needed to do that, needed to part the guys out, and felt like he got 2 quality pieces. And for you, hopefully that upgraded you big time.
Yeah.
So to me, that's perfect.
Went down a little bit to Amon-Ra.
Well done.
Ramondre. That's a good trade, man.
Well done. A plus. So same thing with Justice Hill, man. If you did get him off the waiver, if you can package him, I think it's going to be a split between him, Melgo, Justice Hill. Who knows who's going to get whatever week. So yeah, package him up if you can. Even if you have to do a 3 for, you normally do a 2 for 1, throw in Justice Hill, make it a 3 for 1, and get the trade done. Go get Justin Jefferson.
Exactly.
If I would literally Ramondre, Amon-Ra, and Justice Hill easily. Like if I had to add that in there to still get Justin Jefferson, I would have gave him Justice Hill too. So there we go. All right. So Warriors asking a question here. He says, if Eckler's out, start Kelly versus the Titans or Mostert versus the Patriots. Give me Kelly versus the Titans.
Yeah.
Mostert's dealing with a little knee injury. Scares me a little bit. Already popping up week 1 on the injury list. Not like we didn't expect it or anything, but I'll take the healthy guy that's coming off a great game. So, John Squitter asking, would you buy Gibbs? Yeah, we had him as a wide receiver, as a running back buy. Again, sitting at the running back 36 right now. Only scored 7 fantasy points. I think he will have a bigger role moving on. Again, just remember, this guy's a rookie. You know, it's going to take time for them to come onto the scene. But he could be a league winner. So yeah, if you can buy him low right now, or just even buy even, like pay market value for him, then go get him. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like him.
Yeah, for sure. Warriors giving us a thumbs up for that. So good luck to you there. I know I have Josh Kelly in the league where I got him because I have Eckler. So I'll be playing that game with you. So depending on if he starts or not, I'm throwing Josh Kelly in as well. Went and snagged the handcuff. All right, so let's get into some wide receiver buys. So you're looking at that wide receiver list right now. A couple big names didn't have great games. Again, that's what I'm looking for.
You have the top one. You have the Jamar Chase on here.
Go ahead and say it.
Wide receiver 47, 6.6 points. Man, he only got 9 targets, 5 receptions, 39 yards, 1 attempt for 2 yards running. Whatever. That doesn't really matter for Jamar Chase, but obviously they just had a terrible game. I mean, they sat the quarterback. Everything's going on over there. And I actually heard something about a little bit of slight injury or something like that here going on with him. So if you could go out after him, I would definitely go buy him. It's not going to be that way for long. And also as well as his counterpart for T. Higgins, they got 0 points. I mean, obviously, they just had a bad game. I don't think that's going to continue, and it's going to get that funk off of them. Definitely go after those guys.
Yeah. Probably going to be hard to move the Chase owner, but Higgins might putting goose eggs on people's fantasy starting lineups, and he did it again last year too. So if it's someone who kind of trusted in him last year, because remember he had that game where he was hurt, he had the hamstring, and then they made him active, and everyone threw him in the lineup, and he went out there for 1 play and was like, "Nah, I can't play." You didn't figure that out during pregame, and he just literally sat all game. He tried to sneak out on the field, remember later, and then they caught him and pulled him back off. And then he was done for the rest of the night. Yeah. So it was like, oh, that was worse. And he put up a 0 for everybody. And so now another 0-point game with him being active. So the upside's there, as we know. But now we know what the floor is. So again, I'm personally these are the type of guys I'm trying to buy because I'm making the bet, consolidated bet that's not going to happen again. And hopefully it makes up for that. Later.
That list for you, though. You know what I mean? That list.
Yeah, he's on someone else's list, but he didn't do that to me yet. So if I can go, here's my question. I don't know if I would do it. I don't even know the answer yet. Would you trade Puka Nacua for T. Higgins? The fact that you didn't say instantly, no way, tells you something crazy. A guy that just came off the waiver wire week 1, and a guy that was drafted in the 2nd round, wide receiver. 13 at worst off the board, late 2nd round pick, early 3rd, and we're literally considering some guy who just came off 10 catches, 119 yards, and 15 targets. So that's close, but that's what I'm saying. If you could pull something like that off, T. Higgins for Puka Nacua, again, if you have to throw in Justice Hill or Melvin Gordon or one of those guys with it, I'm getting that done, all day. I mean, there's the chance that Puka is that guy. But to me, those are the type of chances I'm willing to take.
Yeah, get some Chase. Why not?
There you go. Yeah, definitely try for Chase first, and then if you can't, then go after the T. Higgins owner. All right. So you have any other guys, even if they're on my list, any guys that you agree with on here that you want to mention?
DJ Moore as a buy. He had a terrible game. He's looking good. I think he's going to have better days ahead over there. It was wide receiver 72 right now, only 3.5 points. And I know that the guys who drafted him, I drafted him as a wide receiver 2. I expected more from him. Only 2 targets, 2 receptions, 25 yards. With Justin Fields over there, I think it's going to work out. I think that again, do not overreact. It's overreaction Monday, overreaction first week. Everybody's kind of go crazy, and I know this happens every year, and then you go right back into regular mode. A couple, 2, 3 weeks go by, and you forget all about that one bad game that they had. So stick with your guys, sometimes. But at this point, you could go after him and get it from the owner that has him. I really would like to have him back on the team, or keep him. You know what I mean?
Are you taking Puka Nacua or DJ Moore?
I take DJ Moore. Puka is going to be a wide receiver too once help me out, comes back. Cooper Kupp. So he's going to be a wide receiver too. DJ
If
Moore
Cooper comes back,
DJ Moore would be a WR1. He'll be back. Don't be talking like that. Don't talk crazy.
I know. He's sitting in my R too. Yeah, he's sitting on my R too.
Yeah, don't even.
All right, go ahead. Who else you got after DJ Moore?
Another guy here. I take DeAndre Hopkins. Another guy I would definitely buy.
Okay.
Wide receiver 30, only 10 points, 13 targets for 7 receptions.
That's why you're buying him. 13 targets.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So
I think I joked around and said he was going to get 17 targets, and he was only 4 away.
Yeah, so that's what you want. You want if all these guys that we're talking about. He's got the most targets, so the points will come. I mean, we're talking. We always say target touches equals touchdowns, man. We'll get it.
Touchdowns equals points. There it is.
Yeah.
Record that. But yeah, so again, and this was against Marshawn Lattimore, which again, why it was 7 catches for only 65 yards. The fact that he even got that is great. I still thinks that shows that he still has something left in the tank. Yeah. Marshawn even got him once and got that pick. But Tannehill didn't look great. I think there's better days ahead. Again, he is coming off injury, didn't play the end of last year. So it's going to take some time for him. And again, he's just learning D-Hop. He came late into camp. Wasn't like he was there all along. Remember, he was on the Cardinals and got traded, halfway through minicamp. So, yeah, I mean, again, one of my targets is buy targets as well. A couple other guys that I want to mention on here. 2 guys that I was drafting a lot of, and again, this could just be biased to me. But Christian Kirk and Tyler Lockett. I got Christian Kirk sitting at wide receiver 97 right now, coming off a 1.4 point game. Only got 3 targets, 1 catch for 9 yards. And again, this is half PPR that we're talking about. I mean, it hurts. Again, Zay Jones was used a little more than I thought. I thought Kirk would take those 2 wide sets and be in there with Ridley, who did look amazing, by the way. He's obviously a buy, but whoever drafted Ridley is thrilled, and you're not getting him. So that's why we're not talking about him. But I would take a shot on Christian Kirk if you can buy low on this guy. There should still, between him, Marvin Jones, and Zay Jones.
Yes, I still can't believe that one.
Oh, yeah, he's my wide receiver 3 in the league behind Devontae Adams and somebody else. Oh, Chris Olave. I think I have Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, and Calvin Ridley, man. That's a good team.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but anyways, keep going.
Yeah. So Christian Kirk, like I said, I just think, again, could have just been the game. It is one game. I think they'll find a way to get him worked in. He had over 130 targets last year. I don't think that's going to completely go away. And like I said, there was 80 something targets to Marvin Jones, and both Zay Jones and Christian Kirk were both over 100 targets. So there should be enough targets in this offense to go around.
Oh, yeah.
But it, again, just one game. If this, if he had 3 great games and then there was this one dud game and had 2 more good games, like we wouldn't even think anything of it. But because it's week 1 and that's all we have to go off of, he might be somebody that you can acquire if you're looking for some potential wide receiver help or depth there. Again, same thing with Tyler Lockett.
The most traded guy ever, anyways. Too. Everybody undervalues him. Even when he's out there and he's producing the same kind of numbers that DK does and catches and this and that, he still seems to be like, no, he's just not flashy about it. But
he's that slot receiver. He's not a sexy X receiver. Yeah, exactly. He does that underneath dirty work. So he's like a poor man's Amon-Ra, if you will.
But he's getting the work done. He's getting the work
we hope he gets there. So yeah, Tyler Lockett, wide receiver 89 right now, only had 2 points, a little more than Christian Kirk. He had 4 targets, 2 catches for only 10 yards. Did leave with a potential concussion, I believe it was. Did come back to the game. He's was a little questionable, but he should play. Be fine this week. I think he'll bounce back. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Before you get off topic, because we're talking here, Warrior Live says, should I hold on to Jackson Smith and Jigma? I feel like could have a decent value mid to late season, yet I don't feel Geno Smith and the Seahawks offense could support Metcalf, Lockett, and JSN.
I think they can. I'm personally holding on to him if I drafted him. I mean, again, if you feel like you want to trade him, again, if that's how you feel, I can't tell you to feel different because I know how you mean. There's certain players I have certain feelings about as well, like DeAndre Swift, and you're not going to change my mind. That's just how I feel. So I totally agree. If you're in that mindset, then JSN has the name value, I think, and that, potential of the unknown right now. He's still kind of that high value lottery ticket. And again, you can sell it saying like, hey, it was just one game. It was week one. But if you put him, with someone else, maybe you can upgrade to one of these guys, that had a down week that we're going to get to here in our wide receiver cells.
Well, I'm with you though. I don't feel
like personally I'm trying to keep I think they'll bounce back. I just think they ran into a weird Rams team. The Rams own the Seahawks.
For whatever reason.
It's a divisional game.
I'm not high on Geno Smith is my point though, is what I'm trying to get at. Because this guy.
So you agree?
Well, I'm agreeing with him. Yes, I'm going. I agree because remember I told you Geno Smith. I don't think he's going to produce the season he had last year.
Right.
And I agree that he will not be able to support 3 elite wide receivers. You can't feed all these mouths if he's not playing well. You have to have good quarterback play, and I don't think you're gonna get it.
The thing that's tough is that they lost their tackles.
Would take over Lockett at some point.
Yeah.
Target share wise.
Yeah, in a more short term, they did lose their right and left tackles, I believe, for a couple games here. So that is going to be a little tough. I think that might affect obviously it's going to probably affect the passing game, but I think that might actually help JSN because they won't, Metcalf and Lockett aren't going to get those long shots because they're going to have to get the ball out quick. And I think JSN could eat in that slot role in that intermediate range. So
JSN, not to mention Pete Carroll loves to run the ball.
Yeah, that too.
Drop JSN.
No, I would not do that. I personally couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. But that's all just right, Warrior.
We got all your conversation in. You're good to go.
There you go, man. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right, so we got Jessel in the house. What's up, Jessel? Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate the support. Frank's right there with you, man. I had a share of them too. Actually, shout out to the ACG Veterans Invitational charity league there that GZ runs. I had JK as my RB2 in there, and that hurts, man.
That's right.
I'm there with you, so we'll all cry together. He says there's no one else.
No one else ain't dream to drop.
There we go. Red Solo comes back. What's up, man? You see that here? Yeah,
there we go.
He says, "What's good? Long time no powwow. How's y'all teams through week 1?" So I personally went 7-9 this week. It wasn't great, and I was literally 0.3 points away from at least being 8-8. Basically having a standard fantasy week. Losing J.K. Dobbins for the year week 1. Losing by 0.3 points to my rival that I played in the championship last year and lost because of Joe Burrow and Chase. Play him week 1 and lose to him again by 0.3 because of Joe Burrow and Chase putting up nothing. So that hurt. Shout out to Nick
the opposite
over there.
Anthony just had. I had again Dobbins go down. Kelsey didn't play. Mark Andrews didn't play. I can't even think how many other people that got injured pre the game even. Didn't even get to start these games.
Didn't even get to start them week 1, right?
They're already
let alone lose them.
Yeah. I was like, I'm already playing with backups on the bench. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. It's
your fantasy started now.
Yeah. I felt like that on Monday night. Tuesday night. I was
you're
what am I doing?
You're in week 7 already. You're already feeling like how to feel with bye weeks. You're not getting eased into nothing. Yeah, exactly. You're already playing. You better pick up where you left off. Yeah.
What's it, 12 last year or whatever it is? Trying to make the last final run for the playoffs.
Seriously, yeah. Dealing with injuries, bye week in there too. So Jessel's asking, in PPR, Brian Robinson, Elijah Moore, Kendrick Bourne. I'm going B-Rob all day in there. I think you have it in the right order. Yeah. Robinson, Elijah, Bourne. You good with that? No need to get too into there?
All right. That's all. Just move that.
There you go.
So take with Robinson first, I guess.
Nice. We got Zeke Hardy, 88 in the house. Saw Christian Kirk or Tyler Algier this week. PPR, I'm going Kirk. if you're looking for maybe an upside, potential play and a half or full PPR. Hard to get away from Tyler Algier right now, like in a flex spot.
If you're in the flex spot, I'd start Tyler Algier.
Yeah, if you're looking, if you're like dealing with other problems up top, then I think you have to go Algier. He's going to get work. 15 carries, 3 catches. It's not going to completely flip in week 2. Could be wrong, but I think it'll be more of a split. Yeah. Arthur Smith wants to run the ball. Like they're going to run the ball. Yeah. Both of them. And what makes it worse is Cordell Patterson came back to practice today. So now you're going to throw him in the mix. So it could be all weird over there. So that's why I wasn't big on Bijan in the very beginning of the year. And then I got caught up in the hype by the time everything came around. He was basically my RB3 or 4.
Yeah.
I had Eckler. Yeah, it was like RB4 or 5 for me because I had Chubb ahead of him still.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Chubb, Eckler, CMC. So
you gotta be careful with the rookie ones, man. The rookie ones, it's a slow start. It's always a slow start.
But he's that guy. Yeah. Like even Breece Hall didn't pop until like week 4. Like when he got the full reins.
That's what I said. Slow start.
And then he popped his ACL, unfortunately. But he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to eat some crow on him. But again, I never said he wasn't going to be good. Like I just was worried about the re-injury, the re-aggravation coming back too soon.
Just wait.
But you could tell they were worried because he looked amazing. How hard was it in your franchise?
He got caught.
Your quarterback goes down because he ain't ready yet. That's what I'm saying. He ain't ready. Breece Hall from back in the day wasn't. You seen that like 80-yard touchdown he had last year? They ain't catching him.
Going to catch him, right?
Yeah, they ain't catching him. He's not ready. He's not 100%. After all that and how good he looked, how did you not still just give him 20 carries in that game with Aaron Rodgers going down on play 4? That's how you know he's not ready fully yet. And he's on a pitch count. Like they're not letting him use it. It doesn't matter how good you better get all those yards because you're only getting this many touches. So I think it worked out perfect for him. So there we go. So Warrior saying thanks, guys. I like JSN. I had to get a second and third opinion. So we'll talk you off the ledge every once in a while.
We don't think we answered that.
Oh, did I miss it? Oh, I apologize, man. Sorry, Jesus in the house. Yeah, my bad. I thought it was the previous one. He says, would you guys start Andrews if he plays or Montgomery at the flex and PPR? He's starting Hawkinson tomorrow at the tight end. You went bully tight end with Hawkinson and Andrews?
I'm starting Andrews. Definitely. If he's playing, he's getting started for sure.
Yeah, especially with no JK. And they're going to want to bounce back this week. So, yeah, I'll go Andrews. I might go that 12 personnel. You drafted it that way. Might as well play him. You don't go bully tight end and not play him.
Yeah.
Gotta play him.
Especially with Hawkinson and Andrews, yeah.
For sure. Red Solo Cups here with us saying losing Dobbins hurts, man. We're right here with you. J Media. What up, J Media? How's it going, my guy? Freaking Lamar, FML. Sheesh. Yeah, we just talked about him. Yeah. I have him on our buy list here. Absolutely. Hey, J Media, hit me up, man. We have a 49ers Twitter Dynasty League. Bunch of 49ers fan in this Dynasty League. We have an orphan team that's available. If you're interested, hit me up at Rastafarian on Sleeper or Twitter. It's all in the description. But if you're interested, man, hit me up. We need another Niner fan in there. It'd be cool to play with you. Be in a league with you there. So anyway, he says, thanks. And super nervous about Kirk. Yeah. We'll get back to it. We're here for the people. You're good, but thanks for keeping me on board with it. Cardi's just saying thanks. He's nervous about Kirk. I am too, man. But I was just talking about him as one of my buys here. So I'm, I don't want to say planting a flag, but I'm just working the numbers there, and there's going to be 100 targets for him. I just think he'll make up for like a 12 target game, later in the year. So we'll see. Lastly, here, Warrior saying some people are pretty big on the Musgrave hype talent. Where do you guys stand on him? I think I actually drafted a lot of him in best ball because he was, it's my later great, technique, and basically in all best ball I was going late tight end. I had a lot of Hayden Hurst. A lot of my first place teams had Hayden Hurst on it. So to me, that's where I'm going. I'm definitely keeping him on, on the bench and seeing what he can do. And, there's always going to be a tight end to stream. So I'll believe in him. He has some upside and has an opportunity for targets in that offense. We got Cardi as a Niner fan in here too. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Let's go. I know Frank don't want to hear that, so I had to bring that up. He was trying to figure out how to delete that.
Go back and answer.
There is.
Where you at?
Oh, I didn't let you answer? My bad, dude. Go ahead. Oh, my bad, dude. I'm on a roll right now. I'm like on a high.
I was like, was like,
I'm rolling through it. No, go ahead. Who you got right there? I thought you said you were starting them. Oh, it's a different one?
No, we're going to answer this one. You switched.
Oh.
Don't worry about it. I got you.
My bad, man. You got it.
Talking about
I saw the Bang Bang Niner Gang and had to get to it.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell's going on? I'm going to go with, I think that Jordan Love is the real deal. I think that he's going to get his players set up properly once he gets Watson back and everybody healthy basically, because even Dobbs is a little banged up. So it's benefiting Musgrave right now, and I think he's going to be a decent tight end. I'm just not sure if you're what are we thinking? Like what tight end top in the top 10?
Doesn't take much to be like a top 8 tight end weekly. So that's why I'm saying
rest of the season. I'm saying rest of the season. What do you think he's going to end up as?
He's going to be a streaming tight end. Like he might what you're hoping for, I think, is just a guy you can set in there so you don't have to waste the waiver claim every week. Like if he could just get to a point to where he's seeing 3 to 6 targets a week, getting you, maybe 6 half point fantasy points, and then you're hoping he scores a touchdown, every 2 to 3 games. I think that's about the best you can hope for a rookie, tight end with a first year quarterback. So, I mean,
that's what I was trying to get at. That's what
I got you.
Like, where are you going? That's anyways. We're moving on.
I got you.
Did you back up tight end long term? See,
there we go. See, we just have to have a warrior answer the question. See, did it just boom real quick?
Well,
nice and easy.
And he answered his own question.
Oh, see. Perfect.
That's what really got to that point, basically. Yeah.
There we go. Cardi was. Yeah. Go ahead.
So Zeke Hardy here. Thoughts on Damian Pierce and PPR as compared to guys like David Montgomery? I think he's right there with him personally. I like David Montgomery, but I think David Pierce. I mean, it's just all I think that's matchup dependent at this point. I think they're pretty evenly matched, and I think it depends on what team they're facing. Right.
Yeah, it should increase as CJ Stroud gets better. I mean, hopefully he continues to progress through the year. Should open up, more things. Again, I do like Miko Ryans over there and what he's doing. And obviously we know coming from the Niners, they're going to want to run the ball. He just had he ran into a buzzsaw week 1, against this Baltimore defense. Tough sledding. That's why we had him as a sit. But I threw him back in my lineup this week. So, I feel comfortable with them, but like you said, I pretty much have him and David Montgomery kind of in the same tier just because I am a little higher on Montgomery. But I think, his upside could be capped, of course, because he has the Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield. Pierce is only dealing with Singletary. So, depends on what you're looking for there.
Right.
So, yeah. And we got one more, and then we'll get to the rest of our buys here for wide receiver. David Njoku at Pitt or pick up Hunter Henry versus Miami. I don't know if I can jump on Hunter Henry train quite yet. Will be a shootout there, so I understand why you're saying it.
I'd shoot for Hunter Henry.
Yeah, Cooner didn't do much, but I'm rolling with David Njoku. He's kind of one of my, it's the whole pick up Henry versus Miami thing. If you have someone to drop, maybe go ahead and do it, but if you like the guys that you have, that's what I mean. Like, to me, the point difference isn't going to be too crazy. I would just roll with Njoku.
Imagine he's trying to say he's going to drop David Njoku and get Henry so he can play him versus Miami.
Oh, definitely don't do that. So, yeah, I'll deal with the up and down with Njoku and my tight end. He's one of those set it and forget it type guys. Like, if you drafted him where you drafted him, you're kind of just comfortable with what he gives you. So, all right. So, you guys got any more questions, of course, comments, anything you agree, disagree with, throw it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll get going here on our wide receiver buys. Like I said, we talked about Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett, DJ Moore, DeAndre Hopkins. I have a couple more here I'll just mention quickly. Again, my theme is looking for guys who kind of underproduced week 1 that we did have high hopes for coming into week 1. Someone like Amari Cooper, who finished as wide receiver 60, only 5.2 half PPR points. I like the 7 targets, only got 3 catches, 37 yards. We're dealing with some weather there. Just an overall weird game there in Cincinnati. Another guy I'm going after. Again, I'm not like spending anything crazy, but if the guy's low on him, Jahan Dotson, wide receiver 49, only got 6.5 points. but did see 7 targets, had 5 catches for 40 yards. I think that's healthy. Again, you throw a touchdown on that, and that's a pretty decent day. You get Deebo Samuel sitting here at wide receiver 36, 8.8 fantasy points. Again, there's going to be a carousel there. Might be Ayuk one week, Kittle another week, Deebo the next. But Deebo's someone that I wouldn't mind, making a trade for as my wide receiver 3 or 4 or flex position, because he will have his blow up games, his big long scoring touchdowns. They just didn't really need him here, and he still got you 8.8 points.
I think he's moved down to WR3 status now, though.
Nah, 2. I consider him a high end wide receiver 2.
2?
Yeah.
I'm a low 2 then.
That can give
low,
you some.
3.
That will give you 3 to 4 wide receiver 1. Top 12 finishes every week.
Frank and Ayuk, 20, 30 spots ahead of Deebo now.
Yeah, I mean, he is sitting
Deebo
as a wide receiver 2 right now.
Yeah, but he used to be getting the running back looks, the crazy plays. They were trying to get him the ball all the time.
They were up 30-7, and he still scored 8.8 points. Like T. Higgin had 0 points.
That's my point, though.
I'm just saying.
More. I think he should have had more.
No, they just didn't need to. They didn't need to do anything.
Okay. Well.
But Cardi is right. Ayuk is him, and we'll get to him in a second. So those are who I had just to round out my wide receiver buys. So we'll move on here to wide receiver sells, and we'll try to finish up the show here and get out of here. But we have wide receiver sells. Then one guy that I have kind of top of my list here that we mentioned a couple times already, Garrett Wilson, I have as a sell. He's sitting at wide receiver 22, which isn't bad. Again, he had that touchdown, which put him at those 11.9 points. But just like I mentioned, about Jahan Dotson, you give him a touchdown, and he's actually sitting at 12.5 points, better than Garrett Wilson. 5 targets, did catch all 5, only for 34 yards. Obviously, Zach Wilson's going to limit, I think, his A-dot. And, just someone I'm trying to get out of, if I can. You're selling kind of dimes on the dollar, so to speak. I don't think you're at pennies on the dollar quite yet.
Yeah.
He's going into a good matchup this week. Bad matchup this week against Dallas. Yeah. So you might want to try to get up out of him before he really loses a lot of value next week.
Or somebody even thinks about that. Yeah, because he's not going to have a good next week. So
coming from the Cowboys fans, so
yeah, it's not going to look pretty for New York over there. So yeah,
exactly.
They're going to go from a high to a low, but they're not even that high. They were just so happy to win that game. It was almost like a playoff game for them.
Yeah, I mean they did. It was.
Aaron Rodgers went down, and they were able to fight back and get the win and all that.
Overtime, thought they were going to lose, and then still pulled it off. So who you got for wide receiver sells? You can grab someone on my list, or if you had your own list there.
I would sell Michael Pittman Jr. It's a guy that I don't think he's going to continue to produce those numbers. He was a wide receiver 7 at 19.7 fantasy points, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 97 yards, and a TD. I don't think he's going to be able to keep producing that every week. And to me, he's a sell. Another guy would be probably Cortland Sutton over here in Denver. Wide receiver 25, 11.2 points, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 32 yards on a TD. So it looks good, but it's just Denver.
Judy coming back. Yeah, Judy coming back.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just don't even like Russell Wilson no more. So I don't even want to mess with any of the Denver.
He's out. Yeah, get him off my team.
I'm done with all those guys. Those are the top ones that I see on your list here that I'm looking at. I'm like, these guys got to go. You have Romeo Dobbs as a sell. Maybe you're trying to sell. I like Dobbs. I would definitely keep Dobbs. I think he's going to be a target monster as it goes on.
And that's why I need to go find the U in my league and make that happen. See, that's exactly why. That's exactly why I have him as a sell.
Don't even worry. I already got him. But if you got him, send him on over. I'll take him.
There you go. And anybody else you got, or you want me to read off a couple I got here?
Go ahead. Get a couple. I got a couple.
All right. So one of the ones I have, you've kind of already heard me mention him a lot, is Puka Nacua, the big hot waiver wire ad. Frank knows I'm notorious for using my top claims or putting that fab bid out there, and winning the player, and turn around and putting him right on the block, and trying to sell him to one of the other 5 people that I outbid. So Puka Nacua, obviously 15 targets and catches. Obviously, you can keep him. So if you do have him, you're not in a bad situation. I'm not saying you have to sell him, but this is the kind of guy you might sell. Again, Cooper Kupp might come back, and maybe he doesn't have a role. I personally think he'll still have a role with Kupp, which is why he was worth bidding on, and why I was able to acquire him in a few leagues that I needed wide receiver in. So to me, it was kind of a win-win situation. But again, if I can put Nacua with some other piece I had on my bench to upgrade one of my starters, or even package him with one of my starters to upgrade that position, then again, those are the trades I love to do. It's fair value for other people as well too. Again, if they're believing in the player you're getting, I don't feel like you're trying to get over on somebody. It's just for me, in my eyes, I didn't spend draft capital on it. I spent a little fab, but I would spend a little fab to upgrade a player if I could. Like, it was just like, oh, you get this plus 15%, scoring a touchdown every week, for $9 fab. Like, I'll take it. You know what I mean? So like, that's how I look at it.
Backup guys, it's not a bad deal.
Exactly. So, so again, that's what I like to do. And something like that. Excuse me. Another guy I'm looking to potentially trade would be Ayuk. And again, I'm not selling low on these guys. Just put it out there. Obviously, you've got value on Ayuk. Maybe you're a believer. Obviously, if you drafted him, so of course you're willing to keep him. You're not trying to sell him for a bad reason. But again, if you can take Ayuk and turn him in, package him with somebody and turn him into Jamar Chase, then hell yeah, I'm doing that. And I'm a big time Niners fan. But again,
or Justin Jefferson,
again, Justin Jefferson, who we saw was able to get traded earlier for Amon-Ra and Ramondre Stevenson. So again, you could throw Brandon Ayuk in there and Ramondre Stevenson and go get Jefferson. Then go seek those trades out, man. Go try to find them. You have Jacoby Myers sitting right behind him as the wide receiver 3. 10 targets, 9 catches, 82 yards, and 2 touchdowns. If you would have told me the 2 stat lines and guess which Raiders receiver would have had that, I would have said Devontae Adams. Of course, it was Jacoby Myers instead, which just tells me Jimmy G can support these guys if he could stay healthy. And I just think it'll be Adams most weeks, I think. Once Jimmy knows what's good for him and how much. Once the Davises tell him how much they paid for Devontae Adams, they're going to say you need to throw that guy the ball. So he'd be someone. Again, I'm looking, and again, I'm okay with keeping Myers as well too, especially where you got him, and I seen him in a waiver wire, in a couple leagues as well too, 12-team leagues. But if you can package him with somebody else, maybe Myers and Gainwell, and upgrade a position, then I'm going to do that all day. Another guy is same concept, Rashid Shaheed, sitting at wide receiver 11 right now, 16.5 points, coming off 6 targets, 5 catches, had 2 carries, 11 yards. So again, and that touchdown. So again, someone I'm looking to package with somebody and upgrade a starter. So that will round out my wide receiver sales, unless there's anyone else you have.
No, we're good.
All right, so there we go.
People, right?
Absolutely. So so those are some of the guys. If you guys missed it, just go ahead and rewind. Like I said, I'll try to put the timestamps in there if you're watching later to go right to those guys. We'll finish out with the questions that we have here in the chat, and then we'll get out of here. So, and I didn't put tight ends in there because we're just streaming tight ends every week, so I'm not really trading. The only tight ends you're trying to trade for is Kelsey and Andrews. So maybe Hawkinson, but yeah. Right. I mean, we can all agree with that, right? Like, if you have an opportunity to go get Kelsey or Andrews, you go get them. Same concept as everything else. But otherwise, just stream them. Yeah, just stream them. Don't be trading for mid tight ends, guys. That's just not healthy. So yeah, tight ends, like, you can just throw them in a trade if somebody wants them. Just okay, here, take them. I'll just go take Gerald Everett or Donald Parham. Like, I'll just grab somebody off the one. Like, we'll just throw somebody in tight end. Yeah. All right. So I think we left off. Right here, we had Jug said he has J Hill and Zeke. Maybe I could drop who I have Hill and Zeke. Like, which one should I drop? Was he maybe trying to say?
I would not.
I don't know. Jugs, rephrase that question
Hill.
For us if you're still watching.
If you're gonna drop anybody, drop Hill. Zeke's actually getting some work.
J Hill. The only Hill I know is Tyreek Hill.
It's Justin Hill.
Oh, Justice Hill. That's why.
Yeah.
I have J Hill and Zeke. maybe I could drop. Oh, was this part of another question? Oh, it was part of his tight end question.
Oh, yeah,
So he's saying he could drop Justice Hill or Zeke for Henry to pick up instead of Njoku. No, just go with Njoku. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's where we left off.
Yeah, we
Eli! What's up, Eli? How's it going, man? Of course we remember you. What's up, brother? How you doing? Hopefully you got some good stuff going on. He's saying don't do somebody else's trade. So let's get to the trade first.
It was on it.
Let's go to the trade first.
Where is it?
So Premium Multa. How you doing? New name for me. So make sure you hit that subscribe button for us if you're new here. We're trying to get to 1,000, so help us out. We'd appreciate it. And if you guys are already subscribed, hit that like button for us. He says, I have a trade and I need some advice. You're in the right place. We'll definitely help you out. He says, I'm sending Pollard, Debo. Oh, man. So he has a player from your team, a player from my team. So you might get a kind of biased answer here, but we'll try to work through it the best we can. So he says, I'm sending Pollard, Debo, and Javonte Williams for ETN, Garrett Wilson, Waller, and Justice Hill. No, I'm keeping Pollard, Debo, and Javonte. And I'm not even the biggest Javonte fan.
No. Don't do none of that.
I mean, I like ETN. Like, if you could do Javonte Williams and straight up for ETN, or like Javonte Williams and somebody else for ETN, then I'd try to get ETN if he's willing to move him.
That I would want to go get.
But yeah, I'm not touching Wilson or Waller
or Justice Hill. No.
Yeah, Justice Hill is again. He's just this guy. Whoever you're trying to trade with is listening to us. Throw in Justice Hill. Try to make that trade happen.
Yeah. About the waiver wire, so throwing it at you.
Just throwing it in there. So yeah, I like this guy. I like this guy already. But yeah, don't fall for those tricks. He says one last thing: Jameson Williams for Zay Jones, full PPR. He has Olave, Deontay Johnson at wide receiver. So you're definitely looking to get a wide receiver, which is why you're looking to trade Jameson right now for Jones, because you need somebody now. I think you're kind of forced to, if those are literally your only opportunities for wide receiver now. You're kind of forced to do that. In a vacuum, J-Mo over Zay Jones all day after week 6. So
yeah,
I'm taking that chance.
Zay Jones for right now. Get him.
Yeah, exactly. Jugs is asking our thoughts on Garrett Wilson. You kind of heard it there. We have him as a sell right now. I think he'll do okay. Like, I have him kind of in that Cooper, DK, Metcalf, Debo, kind of range. But yeah, he's not up there with like Amon-Ra, Olave, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins. Like, he's fallen from that on the long term. And then yeah, they're saying don't do that trade. It's eye candy. That looks good now, but Javonte will get more workload as the game/season goes on. ETN got 80% snap share, and Garrett Wilson is going to be much worse. So he agrees. Welcome back, Eli. Great to have you here, man. Premium was saying those were his thoughts, so he appreciates that. Kind of just going through some more stuff there. They were talking. Here we go. Uno Gas, what's up, man? Glad to see you here in the chat. Big time. Yeah, no. Oh, getting some props from Frank over here, Uno Gas. There you go.
I remember you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he made it to the finale over there. So he says, thoughts on Brandon Cook? Is he worth keeping on the bench? I think he's worth keeping. Like, would you have dropped Nakua for Cooks? I don't think I would have. If I was on Cooks, I don't think I would have swapped him for. No. I would have tried to do something else. So I think you got to see what Cooks does. They didn't have to throw the ball.
They didn't even have to do anything in that game, really.
Yeah, their defense spotted them. They scored less than the Niners did. Yeah. Like, Niners at least put up their 30 offensive points. Like, they only scored 24, 26, 24. Yeah, 26.
Yeah. It was, so, just hold on. I know he's a little bit injured, banked up. Just hold on. He's worth keeping on your bench.
He says he'd like to drop him for a running back like Tank Bigsby or Tajay Spears, and I don't know if I should drop Cooks. And trading in his league is hard.
I like Tank.
I mean, if you really, I'm the other way. I kind of like. I mean, I like Bigsby too, but I kind of like Spears a little more. He actually played all the third down snaps. The crazy thing too is we saw like the most usage out of Derrick Henry in the passing game as well too. Like, that dude was catching passes like he was Alvin Kamara all of a sudden. But Tajay was in literally 100% of the third down snaps. Got good workload for his first week. So if anything were to happen to Henry, like, he's gonna be the guy. So I would take the bet on him, not because I don't believe in Henry, but because I think he has more standalone value. Like Tank Bigsby might get a touchdown here or there, and I think he actually scored his rushing touchdown before ETN. But if you saw ETN's rush, like you don't need to be at the goal line getting in the goal line carries to score. Like that dude's lightning in a bottle. So yeah, that's in that case I probably would drop Cooks because I think Cooks is more replaceable versus what these running backs could be worth if they were to hit. Like Cooks may have more standalone value in a vacuum, but if you're just, you're good with your starters and you're looking for potential upside on your bench, like if something were to happen, you can go get a Brandon Cooks or better level player from the Henry owner.
I'd like to know who else he has.
Yeah, so there you go. Oh, they're just talking back and forth there. We have Jonah Frederick. What's up, man? Welcome back. He says, would you trade Jefferson, Hurts, and Najee for CMC, Ridley, and T-Law? Damn, that is a blockbuster, my guy. Whew. That is tough. That is freaking tough.
Yeah, I'm going to go CMC, Ridley, and T-Law.
Dang, that might be one of the only times I would say it might be okay to move off of Jefferson and Hurts. Because that Najee upgrade, I think, is so great. I mean, Jefferson is a lot better than Ridley, but it's
upgrade?
Not that big.
Najee's not an upgrade.
Hurts and T-Law, I mean, it's definitely there. Like, you're losing there, but that is the upgrade from Najee to CMC worth the downgrade from Jefferson to Ridley and Hurts to T-Law. That is really, really tough.
CMC, Ridley, T-Law, man.
I think because you have Jefferson, I mean, yeah, he is giving up CMC, so you're trading first-round picks. Ridley was probably a second-round pick. Hurts was a second-round pick. T-Law, because he was picked a lot further down. Najee was picked a little higher. I would try to get another little piece. You don't need much, but like literally like one of these Puka Nakuas, something. Like I want a little more something on that Ridley and T-Law side for getting rid of Jefferson and Hurts, because you're giving up literally the top of the top. You're giving a top 3 quarterback, and those guys are in a tier of their own, and you're giving up the number 1 wide receiver. It's great that you're getting rid of Najee and getting CMC in return, but that gap isn't great enough than what you're getting from the drop-off between Jefferson and Ridley combined with the drop-off of Hurts to T-Law, if that makes sense. Like, I would just love to take Hurts and T-Law out of it. If you can just turn Jefferson and Najee into CMC and Ridley, that's the trade to me. I'm not worried about the stack so much. I'll roll out Hurts, Ridley, and CMC and be happy. What do you think?
I'm taking the CMC side.
You're okay with it as is?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right. That was a good one, though. That took me to a...
I do agree. You got a number 1 wide receiver in Jefferson. You got a number 1 QB in Hurts. But Najee is a huge drop-off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so Eli's saying he would definitely rather have that CMC T-Law Ridley side. Najee's such a drop-off. It's not worth it at all.
Yeah. See, he's the exact same there. I didn't even look at it.
So there we go.
He
says, oh, yeah. So he's answering your question. You want to know what his other wide receivers were for Cooks?
Rice.
You're not dropping any of those guys over Cooks. So Cooks is definitely the guy I would drop. Either Cooks or Rice, but I would definitely drop Rice or Cooks over Rice.
Yeah, Anthony does like Rice. So
see, Eli saying, "Bro, drop Rice, not Cooks." Eli, I'm a Rice guy over here. I'm with you there, Uno guys. He likes Rice though. So do I. And you got to play fantasy with guys you like sometimes. Like even if it's not the exact value, or like maybe someone is technically better than somebody else. Like if you like a guy and you got a feeling, man, ride with your guy. So there you go. Just saying, I don't know if G Will is out of that back end wide receiver 1 conversation. Week 1 was a tough matchup, and last year he got 147 targets. Wilson has to be better than last year. So Wilson, I think, will be good enough to eat. Yeah, and that's why we're saying he's not like dropping to like a wide receiver 3. I just think he drops more into like a weekly, mid wide receiver 2. That has some potential weekly wide receiver 1 upside. But the value of the target that on those 147 targets now are so much, worth so much less coming from Wilson than Rodgers. Like if it was Wilson and Wilson heading into this draft season, like where are you honestly drafting him? He'd be drafted around like the Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett area, I think, Jahan Dotson, he'd be like in that range, like right after the Debos and Amari Coopers. Like he would have been there. So it is what it is. All right. So what else we got here? Is that it?
But George LeBron, start one.
Everyone.
PPR, Puka, White, Connor, Michael Thomas, and Bourne.
I think I'm still rolling with Rashad White still. Maybe Michael Thomas if you're still feeling and believing that.
I'll start Puka Nakua.
Yeah, I'm still going White. Puka again still is against the Niners. I'll take Rashad White and his volume and catches.
Right. He's doing Niner.
Yeah.
I guess go to White. Yeah.
There you go. And I think the rest of this is them talking to each other.
About the whole conversation that's going on? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got T-Money React. Should I trade Cup away for T. Higgins? I might do that. I'm very worried about Cup at this point. Like, I'm not anybody, but I'm hearing from my sources that he might not even be ready after week 4. But we see how hot of an item Puka Nakua is.
I heard the same thing.
Okay, so we're hearing the same thing. So that worries me. I would maybe take the chance on that. I would still see if he can get a little more. But again, I'm the dentist, so either way. I think that's it. If we missed you, I apologize. We'll be back here on Friday with our start sit show. So we'll go game by game, break them down, and talk about who we're starting and who we're sitting. So make sure you guys tune in with us. I'll be here with Classic Mike. Other than that, man, of course, we got to thank our sponsors, TrophySmack.com. If you're trying to take your game to the next level, get one of these rings, maybe a belt, or of course a standard trophy, or even go crazy with one of these Kirk Cousins chains, man. So just check them out. TrophySmack.com. Yeah, use that promo code GetRight when you check out. That'll help support the show. Again, also get in the description and help out and subscribe to our affiliate channels. You got Tim and AJ with the Fantasy Frontline podcast. You got Cody McGoats and Shirtless Pat, Greg, and the fellows over there at the Checkdown podcast. You got the Dead Zone Fantasy Show with our boy Adam J, Mr. Dim Boys for life. So make sure you guys go throw them a subscribe and help out. So again, we'll be back here on Friday. Frank, I appreciate you for taking the time with me here tonight to go through all this stuff, man. A lot of fun. So we thank you guys, of course. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Other than that, man, you got anything else?
Just real quick. Eli Murphy's asking, when do y'all stream?
Oh, it's scrolling right there at the bottom, man. We stream Monday nights for our Overreaction and Waiver Wire show. Wednesday nights here, we do our roster management, buy, sell, trade. And then on Fridays, which we're doing tonight. And then we're back here on Fridays doing our game-by-game previews and start-sit show, taking your live Q&A. It's usually like a 3-hour show. We try to get to everything there. And then Sunday morning with our last-minute start-sits, that's with Classic Mike, taking you right up till kickoff. So turn those notifications on, and then you'll get that notification when we go live. So again, help us get to 1,000 subscribers, man. That's what we're trying to hit. We're almost there. So tell your friends about us, man. Come hang out with us here Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sunday mornings. We'll help you get your lineups right, get your rosters set for this fantasy season. So from all of us here at Get Right, for myself, for Classic Mike, for my boy Frank sitting here, and of course the one and only Dustin. Hopefully we'll get him on here soon. But from all of us here, man, wishing you guys all a great week too. And we'll see you guys on Friday. Peace out.
Provided I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, go and roll your sleeves up.
Damn. What's up, man? Good show, though.